Hello, I'm back. I'm back. I'm sorry. I did say, is it working? Yes, it is working. Yay. So yeah, I did say I was using a new program and I pressed the wrong button. I'm just gonna put this here. Yes, far away. Okay, so what I was saying is that basically we will learn something, then we'll take us into something else, and then we'll take us into trauma, all right? Just to give you a little bit more of there you go knowledge, before just going straight and give you the definition of trauma and da 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 da. All right. So the first thing we're gonna learn today, it's something called we like to call it the mishmash machine, and I say AKA the brain. And excuse me. So let's do an example straight away. Let's say I wake up this morning and my boyfriend looks at me and he say, "Oh, you look nice today." So that would be my reality, yeah. So somebody pays me a compliment, say you look nice, yeah. And as you see, that's a triangle here, so that's kind of a shape, yeah. So then this information, yeah, this you look nice, is processed into my brain, so that's the messy part here, right? And then it comes up on out of this side, I'm fat. It's not true. I look nice today because I'm overweight. I'm fat. I was gonna swear there, but I won't. But I'm fat. So that's my, you see, the reality started as a triangle, but then after being processed into our brain, it comes out at something completely different, like a rectangle there. I'm sorry. Oh wow, this video is going so well today, isn't it? I wanted to pause and do it again, but then I realized that I already wrote on the flip chart. So anyway, so yeah. So the thing is, we have something called core beliefs, which I'm going to go through in a minute, yeah, and they can influence our own reality, yeah. So there is loads of things, and that's trauma as well, in that can influence the way we project our own reality into the actual reality, all right? Because if my boyfriend tells me in the morning I look nice, I should believe him, shouldn't I? Why shouldn't he lie to me, But because of something that is going on inside of me, my response to that is that, no, that's not true. I'm fat, all right? Now, you can change this, even though it takes a long time and a lot of kind of brain training, if that makes sense. You can change this just by take a few seconds to realize and process what's been said to you. All right. So we're gonna go back to that famous checking the facts, and just really try and process that information rationally, yeah. And maybe you can also, the other thing that I always say, you can remove yourself from the situation whilst doing it. All right. So in this case, the skills like pro and cons, for example, from DBT would really help, So it's something that you wouldn't do straight away, Maybe you will do it later on. So again, my boyfriend told me this morning, I process this in a completely different way. And then in the afternoon, when I'm more rational, yeah, I will do a pro and con and say, okay, why is he telling me that? So why do I feel that I'm fat? Is there any facts behind the fact that I'm fat? Am I actually overweight? Am I within my BMI? Or whatever that is, So once again, checking the facts and trying to be as rational as possible, it's a great help with this. But I think the first thing that one needs to do is just to realize that this is happening. And that's the hardest part, because sometimes we're so used to just straight away, let our brain take over there, our emotions take over, and our core beliefs, which once again, I'm going to tell you in a minute what that is, that we don't even realize we're doing this because we're so used to this, yeah? But hopefully after today, guys, after you hear this, maybe next time this is happening, you take a step back, yeah? And maybe take a minute and say, why are you thinking that way? Is that rational? Is that appropriate? Or you just letting your emotions take over, yeah? And maybe you're not being as self-compassionate as you should be, all right? So now I've mentioned these core beliefs. I'm just going to change the flip charts. So I've mentioned the core beliefs because the core beliefs can affect and will affect our own reality. So these ones, flip chart here, I literally just got the definition of core beliefs. So there we go. You see? Yeah, well, I hope you can. I can see mirror, so who knows? So core beliefs, what are they? So I'm just going to read out for you. So they're basic beliefs about ourselves, other people, or the world we live in. And most importantly, those are things that are all to be absolute truth. Yeah, deep down. All right, so read again. So basic beliefs about ourselves, other people, and the world we live in. And we hold these beliefs to be absolute truth. Yeah, nothing can change our mind there. So they're absolute truth deep down. So you could go just saying, I am fat. There you go. That's a core belief. No, this is an absolute truth. No matter what people are telling me, I will believe I'm fat. They are, I don't know, they are terrible people. They are horrible to me. They are better than me. Yeah. And the world is scary. The world is a bad place. Yeah. The world is not fair. Yeah. So you can see that pretty much all I'm saying is everything I've said is negative, and that's because core beliefs are generally bad. Yeah. And also core beliefs are inflexible. Oh, this is great. The pen is even running out. Oh well. So they are inflexible. So you can't bend them. That's what they are. They are unshakable. Yes, which is my favorite one because I can't write it. Unshakable. So yeah, you can't shake them off. You can't change them. They're just set. Yeah. And then the last one, they are, hey, that's a good one. They're unrealistic. So when I say unrealistic, so when I say the world is out to get me, that's unrealistic. The world is not out to get you, you know. When I say they are better than me, that's unrealistic, you know. Who's better than you, you know? We're all the same at the end of the day, unless you're a very terrible person, which I don't think any of you are, guys, you know. So remember, please remember these: inflexible, unshakable, and unrealistic. And once again, about the core beliefs, it's the thing is about recognizing them, and it's kind of hard to change your mind, you know, about those. But there's a good example that we use at college, which is imagine if you are living, you know, in a house near a cornfield. Yeah, so you know the cornfield have those, they grow corns on there obviously, and then they're like huge, massive, these massive green plants. Yeah, let's just call it like that. They're tall, much taller than me. All right, so let's say that from your house to get to the shops, all right, there is one street that you've always walked, right? So on that street, all the corns are down, so you can easily go up and down. And that will be a core belief. And let's just say that's my core belief of I'm fat. So every morning I wake up and I walk that street there because that's easy. You know, that's the one I've always walked. So I've walked it so much, there is no corn on there anymore. There's corn on the right, corn on the left, but nothing and nothing for as long as I can see. So that's the street that I always walk. All right, and that's our core belief, right? I'm fat. That's the one. Always walk it. Yeah. Let's say I want to change that. All right. So let's say I want to find a new street that goes from my house to my friend's house. All right. How am I going to do that? There is loads of corn. That's all as I can see. I can't see anything else, you know. So slowly. Piano. Sorry, that's how I say in Italian. Slowly. You just start. and move the corn away. And then the day after, you do a little bit more. And the day after, you do a little bit more, you know. You're always going to go back to the easy street, you know, to the I'm fat route, you know, that's the one that you know, that's the easy way to go, yeah. But then, maybe a little bit at a time, you put more corn away, and that will be the street of I love myself, yeah. And you might going to be able to get rid of all the corn there and to walk a new path instead of the core belief path. Now, again, easier said than done. It takes a long time, but it can be done. Yeah, we can rewire our brain, you know, through also mindfulness, you know, through also all these skills that we're gaining, you know. That's what we're doing right now, guys. So there is always hope, you know, for growth and for positive change, but it takes it takes a little bit of effort, let's just say that. All right, so let's just go once again quickly through the core beliefs, because I really want you to get these inside of your head. So basic beliefs that we hold to be absolute truth about ourselves, I am, other people, they are, and the world we live in, the world is. And they are inflexible, unshakable, and unrealistic. But if you work really hard on your self-esteem, on your self-compassion, on checking the facts, you can try and start a new path, you know, and walk a different street, which is more compassionate and more truthful as well. So now the next slide I'm going to put up, guys, it's about values. And that's because many people, including myself, didn't know or have them confused the difference between core beliefs and values. All right, trust me, many people do this, and it's pretty normal. Hold on. All right, so sorry, got it? Yeah. So values are, as it says on there, what we believe most in life. But the thing is, I'm getting my pen here. So my values are more like a moral conduct, yeah, our way of living our life in a certain kind of, there you go, moral conduct, if that makes sense. I don't even know if I spoke English there, but hey, so the thing is about the core, the values is that they are positive. So I'm just going to write them here, positive. So when core beliefs are generally bad, values are generally positive. And what we do about the values as well, we choose our value. We choose our values, and they change throughout our lives as well. And you can have many values. It's absolutely brilliant. And the thing is, values are so important because they help us in so many different ways. So for example, they help us find purpose in life. They help us making decisions, based decisions. So making like really important decisions, making based on our moral there. So for example, let's say we find a wallet in the streets, you know. So what would you do, you know? If depending on my values, if I have the value of honesty, I will take that wallet back to the police station, you know, and get it back to the person they belong to, because that's what I would like other people to do if that was my wallet, if that makes sense. But again, everybody's different. That's just an example. So, but once again, they help you making important life decision based on your moral conduct. And then they increase your confidence as well, you know, when you have certain values like hope, for example, you know, and you got that confidence within you that no matter how things are bad now, they will get better. Yeah. So a really good exercise that you guys could do if you wish, you can find online literally thousands of pages in which you can just get that's just like values, you know. You can just download the document, and there's loads of words which are values, all right? And it's maybe about like 100 or something. And then from there, just circle straight away, just very quick, just circle about 7 to 10 maybe maximum, and then from that 7 to 10, just circle about 3. All right, so you will find your core values, you know, and remember, they always change. For me, that exercise was really good when I did it a few years ago now, because it was just after I lost my job at the time, you know, and then I did this exercise, and then I realized how my values had changed. Because if I was still at that job, my values would have been power, money, you know, things like a career, you know, and then my new values were more like kind of healthy values, like time, family, you know, things, health, things like that. So it's kind of a really good exercise to do. But yeah, so remember, core beliefs generally bad, yeah, and values are generally positive. One more important, very important thing to remember about values is that we choose our values. What we don't choose, it's our core beliefs. All right, so I don't choose to say I have the core belief that I look so fat. Yeah, I don't choose that. I have the value, I choose, sorry, the value to say I'm beautiful no matter what. Yeah, but the core beliefs, I don't choose them, and that's because they do come from childhood. Yeah, and they do come from life experiences, and they do come from trauma. All right, so now we're going to go into that. I'm just going to change the thing. And we're almost there, guys. I don't think this is as long as the last one, this session, but it's definitely a little bit more intense. And I really hope this video will be nice, because I can see this camera is not good. I don't know. Sorry, I was just looking at myself. Right. Let's see if you can see this. Oh, yes, you can. Yeah, third time lucky. There we go. All right. So once again, I've just put the definition of trauma up there, right? So we're gonna start straight with that. So what is trauma? All right. So trauma is any events or circumstances that cause stress and that overwhelms a person's capability or ability to cope. I'm gonna read that again. Any events or circumstances that cause stress and overwhelms a person's ability to cope. To understand that a little bit better, I got the 3 E's down here. So the 3 E's related to trauma, that will be event, experience, and effect. So let's do an example here. Let's say I've been into a car accident, which I haven't, but for the sake of it, let's say I have. So the event will be the car crash, all right? So the experience that I'm living or the car crash will be noise, you know, people screaming, will be blood, broken limbs, you know, broken legs, people crying, hospital, yeah? So everything that added that event, everything that makes me experience, all right? Bruises on my body, anything, it's part of the trauma there. And that, the effect. So what does this event and that experience have, like what effect, sorry, that have on me, all right? So let's say, well, this is usually a question I will ask at the class, but I will have to answer straight away. So the effect that I would have after being in such a traumatic thing like a car crash would be, I don't want to go in a car. No, I'm so scared to go in a car again. Yeah, I don't trust that anymore. You know, I get palpitation, panic attacks just thinking about it. And that is absolutely normal. Yeah, because you see, guys, another really important thing is that trauma can be anything. Yeah, so there's no class A trauma, class B, you know, class D, you know, no, it's all the same. Yeah, and it's all because of the effect that an event has on you. Because remember, everybody's different. So let's say if it was my boyfriend having a car crash, maybe the exact same event, the exact same experience would have a different effect on him. Would have been like, you know what, I want to go learn to drive myself, so I don't have to rely on other people to drive anymore, and so I can be in less car accidents, you know. So it all depends, because everybody's so different. The event could be the same, again, the experience could be the same, but the effect could be completely different, you know. So obviously there is some traumas, you know, that people will regard as like class A trauma, but we don't, because that's not true. That is absolutely bullshit, and I'm gonna swear this time. Because whenever an event, sorry, has a particular effect on you that causes lots of stress and that overwhelms your ability to cope normally, that's trauma. That's your trauma. So please, please, if you take anything from today, is that everybody's different, yeah? And whatever you've experienced in your life, if it has been traumatizing, at least, sorry, traumatizing, and if it has had a big effect on you and your ability to cope on a day-to-day basis, that's trauma, yeah? And that's exactly the same as people that are in war, all right? And I know that sounds, oh my God, she's going crazy here. Why would she say these things? My little trauma of losing my pet is not the same of an Iranian refugee trying to escape from war, all right? Or Syrian refugee trying to escape from war. Okay, maybe that is not the same exactly, yeah, but the effect is the same, yeah, because the refugee will have their own trauma there, and the fact that they're in the war, it's overwhelming the person's ability to cope. But the fact that you lost a pet, for example, and it was your favorite pet, and you loved them for 20 years of your life, it's overwhelming, and it's causing a lot of stress for you. So the effect is the same, yeah? So please, please remember that. I'm just looking at my notes, because I didn't write a lot on the flip chart. So before I move on to the final flip chart, there are a few things I have to tell you, and that's a little bit more scientific. So if you remember my beautiful flip charts with the brain on, right? I still have that. I haven't thrown that away. It's fantastic. So you remember how we had the frontal lobe, yeah? That was our rational thinking, our thinking center. And then we had the temporal lobe, right? Which was our emotional regulation. And then inside the temporal lobe, we had the amygdala, which was our emotional response. So when we experience trauma and we experience the effect of it, our brain is not functioning properly. So you will have your frontal lobe, yeah, so your thinking center, and your temporal lobe, so your emotional regulation, they're underactive, so they are not working as they should, they're working less. And then your emotional response, your amygdala, is overactive, yeah? So you're in constant state, I think we mentioned this before, a constant state of fight or flight, yeah? And you can become, well, we mentioned this before, hypervigilant, for example. And how do you think that affects your physical health and your mental health? It affects really pretty badly. So if you live, obviously, in being constant hypervigilant, you will always feel tired. You feel tired most of the time because it's constant, you know, you're always on the go, and you're always like trying to see what's going to happen next, something is going to happen that is going to hurt me, you know. So you're always going to, sorry, I'm just looking at my thing. Yeah, so you're always going to be kind of tired, and you are not going to be thinking rationally. Yeah. So another thing, obviously, is that shame feed on trauma. So there is, it's just like a nobody wins situation, like when you got a trauma and then the shame that comes out of it. I don't know, going back to my car accident, the shame would have been, I could have been driving, you know, and would have been better, but I'm such a piece of shit that I don't drive, and I had to take taxi, you know, and that's why we got the accident, you know. And once again, it's just eats us from within. Yeah. So it's not a good picture at the moment, but my next and kind of almost last slide will give us a little bit of hope, because I think it is kind of very important to know about trauma, and again, acceptance and knowledge are the first steps, for recovery and discovery and to grow, But I don't just want to give you just all this information and leave you like that, like, okay, well, guys, I'm so sorry, you got your core beliefs, you got your trauma, whatever, that's what it is. No, that's not how we're gonna finish it here. I'm just gonna add a little bit on how to heal from trauma, all right, and grow from it as well. So, as I mentioned with shame before, shame doesn't go. Yeah, it will always be with you, as well as trauma. You can't delete trauma. Trauma is we call it like a deep scar, even when it's healed, yeah, it's always going to be there. You're always going to see it, all right? You can't just go back in time and change what happened, all right? But there are ways of healing from trauma. And that's what we really do at college, most of the things that I'm going to talk you through now, we proactively do them at college, so that's a fantastic way. Bear with me a little bit of water. So here, first thing I wrote is regain a sense of control, and that will be over your own life, yeah, and your own environment as well. And that would be as easy as stepping out of the house, So if you spend lots of time in the house because you're traumatized and you can't get out, that first step out, you're regaining your control, yeah, and then maintain a sense of safety. So having a support net, for example, having like other professionals or friends or peers, that are there to support you, so that your sense of safety will grow, and as well develop the ability to trust as well. Now, this is very, 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 very hard, but there are good people out there, there really are. And it's might gonna be hard to trust again yourself or someone else, but you gotta put a little bit of effort in it, and maybe be more rational about your choices in relationships as well. That's why we actually did also the attachment style theory, is that for you just to kind of think about how do you look at your relationships, now, how do you live your relationships, and maybe understand why is that, think about attachment styles, the way you were brought up, and yeah, just think about that, and then maybe realize that there you go, if you don't trust many people, maybe it's a combination between early life experiences, trauma, and so on and so on, yeah. But please remember, remember your values, the values that we were talking before. Find people that have the same values as you, and maybe you can start trust again, all right? And then reconnect with others in the community, and well, your close kind of family or friends, if not toxic, yeah. If they're toxic, you don't have to reconnect with others in a way that it's healthy, and once again in a way that's positive. And that takes me to the next one, which is healing happens in positive relationships, all right? And that could be any relationships, that could be a pet and their owner, that's a positive relation that really, really can help. Or a college, you see, I wrote here peer support. So peer support is support from people that are on your level. They're not necessarily your friends, they don't need to be your friends, but they're people that have been through similar experience or the same experience as you, and they can share them with you, and they can kind of understand a little bit better what you're going through, So what we do at college, that's exactly it, and I think we all can see the results out of it, we all can see that there is some positives, and I am definitely healing slowly, and growing from my trauma, absolutely, which I think is the next slide as well. which is the last one. I could talk a lot about this, guys, but I don't want to just blah, blah, blah. I want you to give you a little bit of inputs, and then I want you to think about these things, and then think about your own life and how you can try and implement these things, or if you're already implementing them in your life, yeah? So the last slide, yeah, let's break everything by now. It's, oh, look, I'm missing one thing, hold on. So here it says, very small here it says post-traumatic growth, which I hope I spelled growth correctly. Once again, today it wasn't my day for spelling. So post-traumatic growth is possible. So what is post-traumatic growth in the first place? Very, very like fancy words, or whatever. But it's about what we learn, from what happened to us. Once we can accept it first, obviously, and it won't be straight away, and again, it won't be just like this, it will take time. But once we accept what happened to us, we can actually, when we try and move on and move forward, we can actually grow and become even better people, if possible. So that would be like through spiritual change. So when I say spiritual change, I don't mean religion. I mean, if that's the case, if for you guys, if any of you is religious, that's amazing, fantastic, and that can really help, or people do actually, after some traumatic event, do actually find God, and find like solace in religion itself, in prayer and everything. So, but spiritual change, I talk about, there you go, the values, and as I said before, that's exactly what happened to me, my values were all over the place, and the way I was living my life was just not normal, let's just say that. And now I had to, that needed to happen in order for me to kind of realize what were really the important things, and that wasn't money, trust me, or power. So, and then personal strength. So think about how stronger you become after you've been through a traumatic experience. You've been through that and you came with the other side. So really you become much, much stronger. And then the last one will be, well, that's what we're doing right now, isn't it? Learning new skills. So I would have never thought before that I would have gone to a place like Recovery College and learn about mindfulness, for example, and do meditation. There you go. That's a new thing that I've learned, and it's really, really helpful. And I'm sharing that with my family as well, for example, or with my boyfriend. So, yeah, so there's always kind of positive things that we can take from there. And then the last thing I want to say before we finish is like kind of my favorite part, because it's just, I'm going to tell you a little story, and it's a little quote, right, that I'm going to tell you, and that's from Lady Gaga. Now, Lady Gaga, she's my favorite, and I love her, and she's my hero, and yeah, I just love her. And she's been through a lot with her mental health as well, And so basically what happened, she launched, I'll give you a little bit of a context, right? She launched a makeup line, okay, about a few months ago. And then there was this competition that this guy won, and this competition was to have a masterclass with Lady Gaga makeup artist, Sarah, which is another amazing woman. All right, so this guy is a 19-year-old guy, and he's gay as well, and he won this competition. So he was having his masterclass, so he was having makeup put on, and da-da-da, with this amazing Sarah, makeup artist, da-da-da. And then what he didn't know is that Gaga was coming. So Gaga came and he was crying, Gaga was crying, I was crying, everybody was crying, it was such a great emotional moment, right? And they started to talk, right? And he was just thanking her really for how she helped him. She helped him having the courage to coming out to his parents and to do YouTube tutorial of makeup. Being a guy, obviously, maybe it'd be strange for his parents that he does that, but he had the courage and the strength, and he was thanking Gaga, right? And he was crying, and I was crying, Gaga was crying, and then Gaga said this, and I was crying even more after that, and I'll try not to cry now, because it's always emotional, no matter how many times I say that. So Gaga tell him, she said, so it's not how we look, right? Or what car we have, or who our friends are, what house we live in. It's none of those things that makes us beautiful. What makes us beautiful is what we've been through and how we survived. Yeah. So yeah, it's just as simple as that. Just think about, guys, think about we've been through, what you've been through, and you survived that. You came out, and now you're doing something about it. And that's just amazing. That's what makes us all beautiful. All right. And that's it for today, guys. So yeah, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry that there was a mistake with the camera before, but I hope it'll be fine. And yeah, so next week, session 4, it's kind of crammed with things, so I'm gonna have to organize it so that there is not too long. And yeah, we've got loads of skills next week. It's very practical and lots of skills and lots of very interesting things. Yeah. So once again, I hope you enjoyed. Oh, there is no homework today because I didn't want to give you any homework. I don't think that's fair. I think that's enough information for today for you guys to take on for the week. So anything else? I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah, that is it. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great week and see you soon. Bye bye. Now there you go. Bye.